What do you make of the Graham Potter situation at Chelsea, basically?
Of course, it's tough. Still love the club, still love the fans there, but it's tough to see them go through it. But I think in general, with everything that's happened at Chelsea in the last 2 years, obviously with the situation with Roman and then somebody finally coming in and Tuchel getting sacked and the new manager coming in, I think it's going to take time for change, and I think it's a change not just at top level or manager level, it's a change for the whole club, and I think all those things take time. It's not something that happens overnight.
Yeah, do you think you'll get the time to turn it around?
I think if they want the success they once had, I think they need to give a manager like Graham Potter that time. I think you don't become a bad coach overnight. In general, what he's proven over the last 5 years, 6 years is with Brighton, I think we've seen how capable of a manager he has, especially once they got into the Premier League. The players that he made better, the way he had that team playing, and the position he left them in. I think that's an achievement in itself. So for me, I think we know what he's capable of, and once he gets those 11 players fit, plus the players he's got in the team, all playing the way he wants, I think that Chelsea are going to become a massive problem in the Premier League.
What have you made of the transfer policy at Chelsea, especially under the new owner? They've obviously signed a lot of players and spent a lot as well.
It's a bit fire off the hip, if I'm honest. But
Yeah.
you can, I wouldn't say you can understand, but you can see what they're trying to do. A lot of the players they are signing are very, very young, which goes back to a module that I think you can see City did. Liverpool did it at a degree. I think Arsenal has done it. I think Newcastle going down that route. So I think in general, I can understand the age. I think it's at the minute because it's emergency. A lot of the signings seem to be an emergency with the 11 injuries, with really no time frame when those players are all coming back. To be honest with you, I
Yeah.
think a lot of it is panic buys, but in general, I think the signings that they have signed, for me, especially João Felix, at so far, he's the one that's come on and lit up the scene. And then you have the centre back that played the other night. I thought he was outstanding as well. So I think there's some great talents in there, and it's just a matter of Potter getting his head together and gelling them all to play the way he wants them to play.
Do you know anything about Mikhailo Mudryk? I think that's pronounced that correctly. The brand new signing from Ukraine. Do you know much about him and what he might offer?
I've seen him in the Champions League. I think he's something that if you go back to say the Robin days and the Duff days, and in partly me, Joe Cole, that at times that Chelsea could play direct with those wingers, that they would get the ball down and take people on. There's a guarantee that he's going to give you that. Once he gets the ball, he will get the ball and go at defenders and get to that byline and put the balls in or go at them and get shots off. And I think when João Felix started against Fulham, he brought something to that Chelsea team that we hadn't seen in a long while, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Going past people, trying to create chances for other people and taking shots. And that sort of set a catalyst in that first half against Fulham. I thought everybody started shooting. Chelsea had 18 shots in the first half, which I don't think they've had in a full game for over a season or longer, to be honest with you. So for me, that's the part of Chelsea that I've always thought they've been missing, because I think you can only defend for so long. Otherwise, the pressure on defenders gets so much. You have to benefit from how good your Thiago Silvas are playing and what they're doing at the back. You have to try and give them something at the top end, and I think he will do that.
Just to switch to one of your former teammates, Frank Lampard, obviously having a tough time at Everton at the moment. What do you make of that situation? And again, do you think that he can turn it around? It's obviously a bit of I don't know what the word is, but it's a bit of a cauldron at the moment at Everton. The fans aren't happy, and Lampard is having a tough one, isn't he?
Yeah, he's having a tough one. I think it's I wouldn't say it's great, but I think in respects of everything, the fans are more focused on the board,
Yeah.
which allows Frank in a lot of sense. It takes a little bit of pressure off him, because I think the fans are starting to realize now it's not just the manager, because they've changed the manager so many times in the last 2 years. It's not just the players, it's starting from the top.
Yeah,
Like, so they want to, the fans know that they need to build the club back in general, and the rest will kick into place. We all know that Everton, they've got the nice stadium coming, but in general, they need investment, coaching staff or physios or extra players that they want their owners to put their hands in their pocket. And I think they Everton need investment. I think they have for a long time, to be honest with you. I think even in my days, there was at times people saying Everton don't really have any money.
yeah,
And Everton a massive club. I think they're one of two clubs that's never been relegated from the Premier League, and nobody wants to see that happen. So, in general, I personally think Frank can turn it around. I think he has the players there, especially in attack. He's got some key defenders, but there's one thing it's nearly hard for a coach to stop, and that's those individual errors on the pitch, where lack of concentration, and they just need to nip that out. Play the way they played against City, for example,
yeah.
and you'll be surprised how many points they pick up along the way.
Yeah, just on City, actually, that's my next question. I just wondered what you made of the derby from a Man City perspective. Obviously, a lot of the attention's been on United's performance and their win, but what did you make of City's performance in that game?
Um, I thought the performance was good, to
Yeah,
be honest with you. Yeah, I thought they possessed the ball, which we all know they can do. They created chances. It's and they, like I said, they controlled the game. I think it was good in a way to see Man United on the verge of coming back, because for a derby, we always want a derby to be feisty, end to end, and not one team dominating. So, in general, from a derby perspective and the neutral, it was good. But I think the turning point was that bizarre offside decision that wasn't given. To be honest with you, I think once that happened, it just it in a way it spoiled the game. To be honest with you,
yeah. What did you think of the decision itself? You just thought it
it's
was,
offside.
yeah,
It's just offside. Yeah, I did it. I worked it, and to be honest, I couldn't get my head around it. For them to turn around and say that Rashford is not attempting to play the ball, but he's changed full direction from running to the corner flag towards the ball, changes the decision of the two centre backs and the goalkeeper of what they're going to do, because they're assuming he's offside. He was in an offside position, which is why Akanji is in behind him to start with. If Akanji thinks he's onside, then Akanji's goal side. Then that never happened. That whole situation don't happen. But yeah, I'm just like, I was, to be upset. To be fair, I was raging, but it's football,
yeah.
and City played well, and there's still a long way to go in the season. So that game or that result don't define anything, in my opinion.
Can you put a finger on why City haven't been quite so dominant this season? And obviously, they may not win the league. What do you think of where, if anywhere, it's just gone slightly wrong for Guardiola this season?
I don't actually think it has honestly gone that wrong. I
No,
think people are starting to question a lot of things in my head that don't really need to be questioned, to be honest. That if you look at most of that possession throughout the game, they will be in and around where they have been for the last 3 years. I think the only thing I can say is we're used to seeing them score a lot of goals away from home. That's a little bit tailored off since early on in the season. But other than that, they've been dominating games, creating chances and scoring goals. You got the new silent in Haaland that's coming. He's on 21 goals. He's 3 away from what the Golden Boot has been for what, possibly 2 seasons.
yeah,
So I wouldn't necessarily see that anything has a problem. I just think it's football. At the end of the day, the Premier League is the toughest league in the world with the toughest team. There is no easy games in the Premier League, and you got a team like Arsenal that's flying. They're basically at 100% every game. If whether they can carry that on till the end of the season is yet to be seen. We're only halfway through, and anything can happen. They still have to go to places like St James's Park, and we've seen how Newcastle are, especially defending.
Yeah.
All it takes is for Arsenal to draw a couple of games and City to win those games that they draw, and then the table's a complete different thing again. So in general, I think although it's 8 point gap right now, I think there's still a lot of football to play, and anything can change within the next month.
The window's obviously still open in January. Do you think City might consider going into the market in the next couple of weeks to find something to boost them a little bit for the rest of the season, or do you not see that happening?
Where would you buy?
Well,
I don't.
fullbacks potentially, a bit thin in the fullback area, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, they're obviously very strong.
No, I don't think. I think we've got obviously Stones just had a little niggle. You got Diaz on the way back. You got Laporte on the verge of coming back fully. You've got Cancelo and Gomez to play left. Cancelo can play right as well alongside Walker, and you got Rico.
Yeah.
So I just think there's just a patch of people where not everybody's fit, and that's it. I don't think there's personally anything to worry about. There's brilliant and elite talents double in every position. I personally don't think there's a rush to buy. If it happens, it happens, but I don't think there's a reason to be in the market this January.
No, City don't tend to do that anyway. They don't tend to rush things, do they? A bit more considered with their approach in the market. Usually under Guardiola, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just a philosophy that they've had for some time, and it's been working. I think the player that they buy has to suit the way that they want to play. Like if you look at Akanji that's come in, and even Gomez, they slot it straight into the way City play. I think is the recruitment is so perfect and tailor made to the City foundations. It's almost like a lot of the times they come through the academy. The only one difference was Haaland, but City's have adapted to the way he plays, and he's adapted to the way City plays. You very rarely see him getting frustrated if he doesn't get the ball.
Yeah.
And when people like Gundogan and Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne get on the ball, especially deep areas, you'll notice that he starts making these runs already. When a Phil Foden or a Grealish or a Mahrez get on the ball, it's normally around the box. He knows and he tries to anticipate what they're going to do. So you can see the relationship getting built every game, and you can see the difference in a lot of things.
Just wondering what your prediction for the top four would be in order, if you had to make a punt now.
Just to wind my dad up, I'm going to say City first, Arsenal second.
Excellent.
And I actually think Newcastle are going to finish in the top four, to be honest with you. I think Big Al will be happy I said that. I really think like the way they're playing, especially defensively, I think they got 11 clean sheets this season, which is the most in the Premier League, which is phenomenal. And so I think they'll finish inside the top four. And the last one's the hardest, but you know what? I'm going to say United. I think United will sneak in there.
Yeah, through gritted teeth, that final one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did. But I have to be honest.